All right, here with reaction, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. It was also the DNC chairman insisting that this was a master class performance. One thing Chris Matthews said is, you know, these elites are they're gonna pay for what they're doing here, which I thought was pretty interesting. Paul Begala, I saw a mastery, he was out there saying. And I'm listening to all this. I'm like, did we just watch the same press conference? But a lot of people stepped up, came to his defense. A lot of people now there were some people ready with their press releases to say he's got to go, and then other people saying, whoa, hold the presses. What's your reaction to the reaction?
Well, I thought it was embarrassing that the White House actually embraces the name of calling this press conference a big boy press conference, and that is what they are referring to, the very first press conference that this president has held this year.
You have big girl conferences? I mean, yeah, I felt the same way, too. How insulting is that?
It is. It's so insulting, wow. And they're actually embracing it. He's surrounded by idiots. He really is. That's what I'm convinced of, is that his staff must be idiots. And if he's not doing the job, and they are, we are in a very dangerous position right now, an extremely dangerous position, not just in this country on how he's hurting our families that live here, but also on the world stage. And it is offensive to call Zelensky Putin. I'm sorry, that's just offensive to do that. That man is murdering all of his citizens, and that it was a little mistake. He made many, many mistakes in that press conference. In fact, he didn't even answer the question of how he was going to weaken the relationship between China and Russia. Never addressed that at all. And they didn't ask him any hard questions. So the media didn't push him on how he's going to get our hostages back from Hamas, what we're going to do to bring peace to the Middle East. They didn't push him on any of that. And then they call this a masterful national security press conference. It's a joke. And the media, once again, the American people know you're lying to them, and you're going to find out in November exactly how real it is that they're going to vote for Donald Trump.
Now, Biden keeps saying that he takes a cognitive test every day, and that came up in the press conference yesterday. Well, how about a quick little cognitive quiz? Mr. President, can you give us the names of everybody in your cabinet? I don't think he'd be able to answer that question, do you?
No, and that clearly tells you that he's not even doing his job today. He hasn't had a cabinet meeting for almost a year, I think 9 or 10 months. The Federal Reserve chairman actually said in testimony on Capitol Hill this week that hasn't met with him for 2 years. I mean, my goodness, our economy is in a free fall. Prices are rising and going through the roofs. People can't afford to buy homes anymore. Interest rates are making it impossible to do business, and Biden is killing us with his regulations. And all of these Democrats who are calling for him to drop out of the race, don't think that you can get reelected by doing that right now. People are going to hold you accountable because you voted for all this crap. You voted for all this crap that Biden brought and put into law. And so they're going to hold you accountable to it. They won't forget because they're suffering.
When we talk about the state-run media mob and you talk about the Democrats, you know, Speaker Johnson said it is the biggest, you know, cover-up scandal in American history. I think this has unbelievably dangerous and profound consequences that they've all covered it up and they've all known. You'll never convince me that they didn't know because we played the tapes every day. They saw it themselves every day. What should happen with that?
Well, they have known and they have been a part of this scandal, and they are going to pay with extreme consequences here in November because they will lose power in this country. The American people are going to take this country back, and they're going to do that by electing Donald J. Trump back to the White House. And he, this time, when he gets there, is going to do some incredible things immediately with the experience that he's had before and recognizing that the bureaucracy needs to be broken as well. So I think that this is an interesting time in our history. I look back at COVID, and I look at how we saw government elitists try to control people with fear and try to control people to promote an agenda. And I really believe that they will do anything. So we better saddle up and be ready for the next 4 months because it's going to get really interesting.
You know, it's interesting because every time he speaks, everyone wants to watch because you just don't know what Biden you're going to get. And I think we saw many variations of him yesterday, as I've been pointing out. High energy, no energy. You know, screaming, whispering, dazed, confused, not answering questions. It's very bizarre.
Sean,
and frankly, go ahead.
Yeah, nobody tuned into that press conference to see what he would say. They just tuned in to see if he could talk. and to see if he could stay talking for an hour. That's why they watched that press conference. He could have said anything, and the media would have said, you know, he got through a whole hour. They were celebrating. This is the leader of the free world. We deserve better.
We deserve better. You know, I've sat with Donald Trump as recently as a few weeks ago. He went on for an hour and 20 straight minutes, and I had like enough material for 3 shows, and I wasn't, you know, if he's going to give me the time, I'll take it. Then he did an hour and 20-minute interview with Dr. Phil. Then he went to a dinner, and that's an average day for him. And I think he played golf in the morning, which takes him about 2 hours because he races through the golf course. It's pretty incredible. Governor, great to see you. Yes. Thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.